Tom and I are going to start. We're in the closed guard position here. Typically, you're in tight, you're working in tight when you're here, but the guy on top, especially with the experience, they kind of know how to get out of this pretty quickly. You know, they're going to be able to break the guard pretty quickly, especially if it's a skinnier guy on the bottom or a shorter leg person. It's hard to get these brawly guys with broad backs. Now, Tom and I are pretty close in weight and height, so it's easier for me to keep control of him than it would be for somebody with a larger back or even just a heavier set person, right? Because these legs don't hook up, and the hook is not necessarily a strong grip. So typically a lot of things that hold this grip together is the fact that I'm pulling him in and I'm working him in, and he's not fighting me too much. As soon as he brings a knee in the hip and pushes his hips back, he's broken the guard pretty quickly. So immediately, instead of me trying to regain the guard, which I may do, in this scenario, I'm just gonna let him have it, and I'm gonna go to the butterfly guard. Now, if I just stay here without my hands, he's just gonna walk out of it and get out of position, right? So I still have to hold him in, and I still have to keep him in here. But what's nice is if he tries to stand up or walk, I can keep him away by stretching him out. And then if he tries to choke me, it's gonna be hard to do it. Plus, as I push him up back, notice how his arms straighten out most of the time, so that allows me to get some type of arm bar. So that's really bad for him to let me stretch him out. But for this drill, what I'm going to do is right now my knees are on the outside, because if I squeeze the knees together, that also allows me an arm bar opportunity. But they don't like that, and a lot of times they'll bring the elbows to the outside. So he brings the elbows to the outside like this, or come back in. I might be working my way up, and when I go into the butterfly, I'm already in this position. And this is where I really want to be, because what I'm going to do in this drill is I'm going to set up a transition for the spider guard. So I have to, this is the butterfly more so because my feet are in that butterfly strict position, either this way or that way, right? And this is harder for him to come up in the inside and grab the neck, but he may as he stacks me. I'm going to slide the foot up here, and I'm going to stretch him out. Now, if my hands are here by the tricep and I kick out, I'm going to lose my own grip. So if my hands are at the elbows holding him tight in, I need to make sure I'm working my way down to more his wrist, right? Or if he has no-gi, I've got to grab the wrist, and it's a little bit much more difficult with the no-gi. So I have it here, I have it spread. Now I can, because my hands are gripped low by his wrist, I can stretch him, and it's a pull-push. So I'm pulling with the wrist, I'm pushing with the biceps. In a street fight, if he tries to punch me, this is really good, because he's not going to be strong enough to go against my leg, and when he pulls his hand back for another punch, I have him here. He's going to have to go ahead and rotate the wrist around. That's what he's going to do in a good scenario, or a person who knows good defense. But for this drill, he's not trying to get out of this grip here, and I've got a good hold. Be careful not to hold in here, because if he twists around, he's going to break my fingers, right? So anytime somebody grabs here, just start rotating the wrist both ways, and you're going to catch those fingers in and twist them, and more than likely break them or dislocate them or cause a tap out in a competition. So keep everything to the outside. Now from here, I'm going to take the secondary leg and I'm going to slide it up. Now in a street fight, I'd be kicking him in the face, kicking him in the neck, all that good stuff as well. But he's doing other stuff too to me. So I have it here and I have him in here. Itsy bitsy spider crawling up the spout. That's how you can remember it, right? You have control of him. It's also called the puppet, because I can control him like a puppet. He looks like a puppet. So we're either puppet guard or spider guard. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, right now I'm going to focus on my right leg, and I'm going to kick through. Now some people kick in up here, but you want to consciously think about sliding the ball of the foot down, so you kick here, almost like you made it look like an accident, right? So I'm here. Immediately this foot here is going to pull in, and I'm going to wrap the body. My hips slightly move to the right side as I do this to get a good angle, because I don't want to be down here. I want to be up as much as possible. If I'm down here, he may pull his hands on the inside, push me out. If I'm up here, boom, I've trapped this arm a lot better, right? You could even try a hip lift here. If he keeps moving on, I'll do the opposite drill. But right now we have it nice and trapped, right? I have this locked in here. I can do a few kicks like this, right? Kick back and forth, right? If it were like a mixed martial art fight. But now the secondary leg, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it on the upside. But before I bring it on the upside, and let's spin around completely here, just so you can see what I'm doing. So you saw what the right side does. This leg, stand up just a little bit, like stand up straight. I'm in this position here. What I'm gonna do with this leg here is I'm gonna push straight down so I can bridge off his biceps. So I want the hips, the higher up the better. And then this foot here, we're gonna wrap it, and we're gonna do the same thing up. I'm here, now I'm more on the right side of my hip because of this leg around for leverage, but when I bridge up, I'm gonna scoot for my left side. Bridge up, then I'm gonna release. Now I'm gonna scoot the hips up as I bridge, and then you're gonna lock it in here. If I need to take the secondary hand and pull and squeeze it tighter, I can. I'm not worried about letting go of this hand because he can't go anywhere with it, really. And I can put it here, I can grab the head, go here, I can push it to the side, get a tighter squeeze. If I move it to the outside, I'm typically trying for some type of lockout too on the shoulders or elbows. So typically if you're going for the choke, we go this way, pull the head, lift the hip. If that's not working for some reason, or I can't get my hand over here, I'm gonna bridge up here and put pressure against his arm. Now we'll start on the other side. So we've got closed guard, I'm doing whatever, right? He's pushed my hips and broken the guard, so I'm gonna immediately go to spider guard. I might have his elbows here to keep him in tight. He may pull the arm out a little bit, and then I'm gonna grab it on the lower end. Same thing on the other side. So I have my knees in here, I push back a little bit to buy me some room. I'm gonna slide up here, push on the elbows, keep a good control. Same thing on the other side. So now we're in that spider guard, right? I kind of keep him from moving. The hardest part of this is you gotta make sure you keep here. Once I lose that, I've lost position, I have to do something else. This only works if I'm able to keep control of that gi and keep my arm here. It's not way up in here, it slides right by the crooks of the elbow where the elbow bends. That's where my pinky is, right? So you can practice that for a little bit. So it's here. Last time I pushed through with my right. This time I'm gonna push and I slide with my left side. So I'm in here. I move my hips to my left side a little bit so I can clamp down on this. So it's kind of protecting this arm from getting out. If it's here, he'll pull the arm out or adjust it somehow. So you gotta clamp it down above the armpit nice and tight, right? Whether I have the hand or not. Now this one here, the right side, scoot back again just so we see, spin around all the way. Because I want you to make sure you don't forget that bridge up. So I clamp down. If he stands up a little bit, I still have this control, but now I push down the arm and bridge up. I scoot a little bit here to get this leg over, clamp down. If I need to let go to grab the leg and zipper it up, I can. I cross the arm around, I lift up the hip, and there's my choke. So without Tom here, we went from closed guard to butterfly, right? Try and get the knees on the inside here. The hands may have been on the elbows. You're gonna slide it down to the wrist. We've got one half spider guard, half butterfly guard, two full butterfly guard. We have the adjustment here. If my right foot kicks through, then I lift the hips a little bit to the right and clamp it over here. Make sure it's tight in the armpit. Then this one here slides over and clamps here, but when it does that, when I bridge it down here, this is the bicep, I lift up before I slide it over, I move a little bit to the opposite side, clamp down, push the arm, and pull, and do the same thing from the other side. Practice that.